Hey everyone, my name is Gabe Gerwin, and welcome to Thinking Man Games.
And I'm Tristan Edelman, and we think about games, so you will too.
Okay, so I was gone last week, and Tristan obviously continued on with Hayden Tan, our special
Yeah,
guest host, uh,
rustled up someone.
and I'm sure that's not the last time you'll see him. We'll try to get
No.
some other guests on as well to kind of uh, twist things up a little bit, shake things up. But I'm back this week, and I wanted to talk about something that I guess is a little more timely because obviously the last week the topic was about collecting memorabilia. Obviously, that's actually something I'm huge into now. But this week I wanted to talk about a specific company that's been maybe not making the best news lately, and it's not Microsoft I'm talking about. It's actually Nintendo. So, Tristan, what have you seen first off very recently about Nintendo? Good or bad?
Um, well, I know that I'm more of on the side of Nintendo apologists, but I
Mm-hmm.
saw good from Pikmin 3 in terms of Japanese sales. But then, of course, it was kind of overwhelmed by the bad from I don't know, what was the report that came in saying that like they sold, what was it, like 160,000
Yeah.
globally, which was pathetic, and I was just like, no, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of overwhelmed it, and that's kind of taken control of my mind lately in terms of Nintendo.
Yeah, and I've been talking about this with some people like Michael Burns. We got in a big discussion about it on Twitter the other day. Um, but yeah, I said a couple months ago I thought Iwata should probably be fired at this point, and I still stand by that. I think
You're
he's
on Sessler's side there.
yeah, I think he's been doing a. When did he say Iwata should be fired? I know.
Fairly recently,
Okay, I know Pactor was talking
before
about it.
before the reports came in about the sales and
Okay,
all that
I'll have
stuff.
to look that up. But Pactor's been saying it for a while. You know, he should probably go, and I didn't really know except every single time they have to do one of these meetings, it's basically Iwata saying, "Don't worry, we're trying to turn things around. We have a plan. We know games, sells, systems." But the thing is, he's been saying that for a while, and I was kind of looking at the way the Nintendo systems have gone in the past, and the Wii, for all intents and purposes, was kind of a fluke. It was a really new craze. This whole motion thing was something we hadn't seen before.
Yeah,
It sold really, really well for a couple years, and then the sales just tanked. And
because everyone had them at
yeah,
that point.
everyone had
And they
it. It
were,
was their
yeah.
backup system that they had collecting dust, and so Nintendo still pocketed that, but it didn't have a lasting impact, which is really important, obviously, transitioning into the next console.
Oh, definitely.
And I was thinking about that, and then how the 3DS came out, and obviously the 3DS was it was about 1 million units short, I believe, of what its target was within the first few months of it being
Yeah, it
on
was
the
pretty
market.
slow.
Yeah, and obviously that was because it had a horrible lineup to start with. Pilot Wings, I think, was one of the first games. There was Nintendogs plus Cats, uh, Super Monkey Ball. The only games I bought at launch, like the day I got it, were Super Monkey Ball, which is the worst, besides the Game Boy Advance one, the worst Monkey Ball game.
I haven't
Um,
played any of them, so
the GameCube one is great, but ugh, it was bad. And I got Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, which is actually a really good strategy game. But besides that, there wasn't very much.
was Super Mario 3D Land a launch, or was that like
No,
launch
that was
window?
months later.
Okay.
That wasn't
Yeah, I
even
didn't
a
get
launch
it.
window.
I didn't get a 3DS until like a year after it came
Yeah,
out. So.
and a lot of people like. I don't blame you. I kind of like to buy my systems at launch now, just because I want to be able to cover them and start getting into stuff right away. But the general consumer, I don't think really had a reason to buy the 3DS. So I bought it, $250, and then I believe it was August. I want to say it was August of 2011. That's when they made the price cut.
Yeah.
And that they dropped the price from $250 to $170,
Well, that
which
sold
is
me on it.
yeah, which is ridiculous. They were selling it at a loss, and then a couple months later, we saw two huge games. Obviously, Mario Kart 7, which is one of the best games in the Mario Kart series, and Super Mario 3D Land, which is one of the best games in the Mario series, just period.
Mm.
Both come out within about a month apart. I think Mario 3D Land came in November, and then Mario Kart was December. And the kind of analogy I had for it is it's like a bacon cheeseburger. You need all of the parts for it to work well. Like, the diehard Nintendo fans would like just a plain hamburger with some wilted lettuce on it, and that's what you got at launch. The plain hamburger was the 3DS at $250, and then the wilted lettuce was the abysmal launch lineup. Then you got some cheese on that in August when they cut the price, and then the bacon came when the good games started coming later that year. And there you go. That looks a lot more appealing.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Wii U, and I think people need to understand this, they said they're still selling it at a loss, which to me means either they just don't know how to manufacture a system well, or they're not telling Foxconn how to do it properly, or I don't know. Maybe the gamepad's obviously a cool piece of technology, but I don't see how
that would probably take up a hefty portion of that.
It's ridiculous,
You know what I mean?
though, that thing is still selling at a loss.
But I mean, consoles are always sold at a loss for the
At
most
first,
part.
yes, but
But first,
within
right.
a few months is when they can usually start selling them at a profit. And the thing is, people are saying the system's too expensive; they need to cut the price, and that's the whole bacon cheeseburger thing. The Super Mario 3D World, and what else is coming later that year? Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze. They're great games. They're going to be great. And then you have obviously a re-release of Zelda, which looks like it should, that's more of a bone thrown to people who already own the system, I feel. And then one more that I'm getting.
I don't pay attention to release dates until it's moving,
I'm just thinking about the holiday season.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have like 4 titles coming out in that window. Oh, I guess no, Pikmin 3. Oh, Wonderful 101. That's the one I'm forgetting. So those games are all coming out within, that kind of holiday season from September to late November, early December. But if that price stays the same, I don't think those games are going to be enough to persuade people to get a Wii U over another system. That's the thing they're kind of forgetting, is that they're not just trying to persuade people to get a Wii U. Earlier in the year, that's all they were doing. Now it's get a Wii U instead of getting an Xbox One or a PS4.
Yeah. Oh man, that's quite a battle because I don't have a Wii U yet, and I can't see, even as a Nintendo fan, I don't see myself going, all right, PS4 now or Wii U now. I'll probably go with PS4 first. Just because, like I said, as a Nintendo fan, I obviously want to own that piece of hardware at some point, but there's nothing right this minute that is grabbing me, even though I know there are good games for the system.
I know, and I feel honestly like that's not a bad thing for you to do, because Nintendo, they have their pockets, their pockets are deep enough that they can afford to be hit really, really hard for a pretty long time. And the thing I think is really important to take out of this is a creative stagnation in terms of software. No one will ever fault Nintendo for trying their best to have creative hardware. The DS, the 3DS, the Wii, the Wii U, they're all extremely innovative pieces of hardware. But their games lately haven't been. You see, like, people always, kind of make fun of Call of Duty or whatever for being the same game. But that's kind of, I think, what people are starting to see from Mario. And I think even one of the producers for Zelda even said, we need to kind of shake things up. And I agree. Like, I like Zelda a lot. I think it has a great history. But I don't want to just get excited for Zelda thinking that new Zelda is coming out. I want to think, Zelda so-and-so is coming out, and this is why I'm excited for it, not just because it's Zelda. And I haven't thought that lately. Skyward Sword was a good game that had just kind of annoying controls, I thought, for me.
I really enjoyed with few exceptions, I didn't mind the motion controls.
I think it was kind of my setup in my room too, but I just like the kind of less precise feel, I guess, of Twilight Princess, where it locked on more. So, but anyway, and I like the tone of that game more. But then you're seeing the same thing. We were all really excited to see what this big new 3D Mario was coming off, obviously, Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. And I really hoped and prayed it wasn't going to be Galaxy 3, because I didn't want to see them go down that road even as much as
Well, you got what you wanted, kind of.
Kind of. Taking 3D Land and putting it on the Wii U, essentially. With co-op, obviously. But come on.
But like you said, that game is probably going to be great.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It'll probably be tons of fun, even if you play it on your own, if you're not crazy about co-op, cool. Even by yourself, it'll be a fun game. But like you said, it's not innovative like Nintendo games used to be.
The thing I think is important is when you're playing it and you first get it, you'll think, yeah, it's great, it's Mario, I love Mario. But think about, like, a couple years from now, will you remember that game like you remembered a Galaxy?
Well, and then there's another thing, too. As people that have played those previous installments, we're seeing this age. But you think about kids just growing up now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to put yourself in that place, but...
Yeah, they don't remember those games.
Yeah, so they're not going to see the tired formula. You know what I mean? It's going to be totally new, and it's going to be awesome. But as, there's a bigger demographic.
And there's that weird mix then for them throwing a bone to people who played, like, Super Mario 3 or Mario World, adding in those elements that the kids wouldn't understand anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It's just like, I feel like it wouldn't be that big a deal for the kids for everyone to be happy. These kids, this is their Mario, and we get, you know, obviously, an innovative 3D game. And it's kind of a weird mix, because they don't want to ruin, you know, what makes a Mario game. But when Miyamoto was you know, he was doing an interview at one point, and he said, like, when they have a new gameplay mechanic, they think immediately, like, which franchise will this work best in?
Yeah, they mostly come up with things devoid of franchise in mind. You
And
know what I
that's
mean? They
why-
just come up with
yeah.
ideas and then apply
And that's
it
why
to
you
a
see,
franchise.
like, all of the gimmick, like, 1 or 2 new gimmicks in each Mario game, because they have this new feature, and they add it into an existing franchise.
Pikmin was originally a Mario game, which is kind of weird.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Pikmin 3, I think is a good game, but it's not a Wii U console seller. It just isn't. It's just the game that a lot of Wii U owners have to, you know, have a reason to play their system again. And it just frustrates me. I want to see... First, I want to see Star Fox come back, because I feel like that's a perfect fit for the Wii U. But I just want to see new IPs. I'm tired of people saying, when are we going to get the new Mario game? Or the new this? I just want the new something. Like, a new, completely new
I think
franchise.
that the 3DS has been a good ground for that with
Yes.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Pushmo, Crashmo, Harmonite is a Game Freak, I believe. And then there's like Dylan's Rolling Western, and but those are all games. They're like you know, downloadable games,
like $5
which
games,
are
yeah.
great, but that's not.
It doesn't
a
show their
seller.
confidence.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, that's important. And obviously, the 3DS is right now, from a business standpoint, a much better platform to try something like that on, because with a game like New Super Mario Bros. U, which I think that or Nintendo Land, maybe Nintendo Land was like the number 1 selling Wii U game. And if you see a game like that, it's on a system that has so few people, you know, buying it. You're seeing kind of this percentage that looks really high, but doesn't really tell the full story. Like, if 75% of people or whatever bought Nintendo Land with their Wii U, that's all well and good. But then if 20% of 3DS owners bought, you know, New Super Mario Bros. 2 or whatever, that's a much higher number, because the install base is so much higher. And I think you're right. It makes more sense to be on the 3DS. But what I'm just hoping is that they can actually get some good, innovative versions of the franchise that they already have on the Wii U, so eventually we can get these new series. Because honestly, what is the point of making this new super innovative system if you're going to be putting kind of rehashes of old games on it? And I'm not saying...
Games that could work on the Wii or otherwise.
Exactly. With the exception of like Lego City Undercover, which is really, really gamepad intensive, and Pikmin 3, you know, you use the map, but the preferred control method for that is still the Wiimote and the nunchuck. And I've been playing it a lot, and I do really like using both of those together. But nothing screams, you know, this is why this system, you know, is awesome. Besides the tech demo Nintendo Land. The worst offender is probably New Super Mario Bros. U. There's a couple different control schemes you can use, but if you're playing that game in co-op, the person who's controlling Mario is using just a Wiimote.
Yeah.
It's HD. I guess that's the thing.
Yeah.
But what does that even mean anymore when you have these systems come out that have, you know, graphics that look a zillion times better?
And then the same resolution, technically. HD.
Yeah. So, I guess I just want to see them take a chance, cut the price of the system, even though you're already selling it at a loss. Cut it more. Give us some good games for it.
I can see them doing it for the holiday.
Yeah. That's the thing. They have such deep pockets. They can afford to cut the price of the system, get it out there, get more people buying it, get the install base up, get developers supporting it once again, and then you'll have a cycle. It'll be a snowball effect where you can actually, you know, finally start selling it at a profit and start selling it, period. Because, you know, right now, yeah, we're selling it at a loss, but you're not selling it at all. The publishers keep saying we're not supporting it until more people own it. But more people aren't going to own it until there's some first-party games on it and the price is lower. And until those two things happen, I don't know, like, what Nintendo... They can't say anything to me that's going to make me feel better. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is not related to video games, really, but I think a lot of gamers probably saw this movie. It came out Friday, is Elysium. Now, did you see District 9, Tristan?
Yeah, I love District 9. It's in my top 10, I would think.
Oh, yeah. I think it's probably there for me, too. I really like that movie. It's one of the best sci-fi movies, I think, ever. And I was even more impressed that Sharlto Copley apparently ad-libbed every line in that movie.
Yeah, he was amazing, and I heard a lot of great stories about him.
Now I saw Elysium. I saw it last night, and it was good, but that's about as much praise as I can give it. It didn't feel nearly as kind of original as District 9 did, and maybe it's because of the higher budget, but the thing about District 9 that I really, really liked, and this kind of divided critics, but I liked that for the majority of the movie, it's kind of slow moving. He's on the run a lot, but
Yeah.
it's mostly like a character piece trying to like examine what's happening to him, and then at the end, it goes, balls to the wall action. With Elysium, it's kind of like it takes these little breaks to do that with Matt Damon's character. And near the beginning of the movie, he suffers a radiation incident at this plant he's working at, and so he's going to die if he doesn't get to Elysium. But it keeps jumping back and forth to action, like trying to keep the audience, kind of show them what the budget was used for, I guess.
Yeah.
Charlton Copley's excellent in it as a villain, which I did not expect. He was really creepy. And they gave him a big beard, I think, to make it not quite obvious that it was the same guy, because they didn't want people to think of the character from District 9 playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
Damon was good. Wagner Mara, who he looked familiar to me, but I guess he really hasn't been in anything that I've seen. He had a supporting role. He was actually my favorite character in the movie. And then there was Jodie Foster, who was so bad. I can't believe that Blomkamp didn't. Oh, she was so terrible in this movie.
I heard she was fine. I haven't seen the movie myself yet, so I can't really speak. But, I heard that it was kind of a typical, you could insert any other kind of middle-aged woman, bitch, in that role.
It wasn't that. It was her delivery was so fake.
Wow.
Nothing she did sounded good. She wasn't really menacing that much either. But every line she had this weird accent that didn't sound like any country I've ever heard of. And it was just, ugh. I don't know. Jake Baldino had kind of mentioned this. Everyone at Pretty Much It had kind of agreed. And then my parents and I saw it with them, and after I looked out, that was kind of the one thing we all agreed on, was she was awful. And she was the only bad actor in the movie. Everyone else was good. Matt Damon, it wasn't like a super stressful acting job,
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi movie. It's not like District 9, where that movie kind of rested on Copley's shoulders. But man, I'm still really excited to see what Blomkamp does next. I hope he does something as kind of innovative and revolutionary as kind of creating a new genre with District 9, the whole kind of gritty, character-driven sci-fi that kind of
I just liked how real it was.
Yeah.
And of course he's doing stuff even with Elysium where he's drawing social parallels. District 9 was like apartheid, kind of the whole South Africa kind of thing, and of course this is the dystopian division of wealth kind of thing. But I feel like the emphasis on that theme is less powerful in Elysium. From what I've seen, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't even know.
You're right, though. Yeah.
But it is okay. So
yeah.
I see it as more of an action movie than what District 9 was as a kind of thematic.
By the end, you can completely see what they're trying to do and all that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of just like, that was a cool movie, and I did enjoy it. Like, I don't regret seeing it, but by the time I got to District 9, I was just like holy crap, that was awesome. And I've gone back and watched that movie time and time again because I just love everything about it. I think Copley is an amazing actor. And in this, his role wasn't as big as I expected it to be, I guess. A lot of people actually didn't have as big roles as I thought they were going to. Besides Matt Damon, who's in almost every scene. Wagner Mara, he's been a half an hour, I guess, in the movie. And William Fichtner is not in very much of it at all. Thankfully, Jodie Foster's not in it for that long either. They keep kind of jumping back and forth. But yeah, I saw I think it was a Chicago Sun-Times review Richard Roper did, where he said, like, you have to see to believe how bad she is in this movie.
Wow. I didn't understand that was the verdict on her. I haven't really paid attention.
Yeah, a couple people have just said her accent was kind of weird, but ugh, man. And I'm not a huge fan of her, but I can respect her as an actor. But
not in this case.
No. But yeah, I liked it. It's not gonna set the world on fire like District 9 did, but Blomkamp's still a good director, and I can see what he was doing with this. So that's about all the time we have this week. We're going to have this up on Wednesday like we usually do. So stay tuned next Wednesday for our next episode where we're going to be focusing on Splinter Cell and XCOM Declassified as well as some Saints Row 4 talk. See you guys later.
See ya.